I used to wait for the perfect moment, for more confidence, more clarity, and even more permission. But here's the truth. None of that comes before starting. So, this is how I stop allowing self doubt to win and start controlling my life. Hey, friend, welcome to the Sunny Side Up podcast. My name is Olivia Janelle, and this podcast is all about self empowerment and you creating the life that you truly love. On this episode, how you can overcome self doubt and start showing up for yourself. This episode is real transformation and grounded belief that really will help you achieve the thing that you want to. So, if you ever felt that you are on the sidelines of your own life, you are not alone. And this video might just be your turning point. In fact, a year ago, I had this idea to start a podcast. And I thought to myself, what am I actually doing? And I did that. I created the Sunny Side Up podcast. And it's so crazy that how you can have a transformational moment within your life that really is transforming your entire life. And when I think about it, I had a very traumatic experience about a year ago that I thought to myself, I'm not living up to my full potential. I'm not allowing myself to actually go after those dreams that I say that I want to. And it wasn't until I started to do personal development, lean into some unhealed wounds of my childhood trauma that allowed me to be here today. And this episode is really about you and you thinking about what your life looks like, where you too want to achieve great things. So let's just get right into it. Where did my self doubt come from? Let's rewind. I wasn't always this person that's on camera. In fact, when I first started my YouTube channel, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And when I first started my podcast, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But it was the practice, it was the overcoming myself, it was telling myself that, yes, I'm worthy, I am love, I am powerful, I am enough to the point where I can achieve these things that I want. And there was a time where I questioned everything, who I was, what I had to say, and whether or not I was even qualified to help others. And a lot of that came from old stories that I was continuing to tell myself. And at a point, I didn't even realize I was telling myself those stories, thinking that I had to be perfect to be seen, believing people would judge me on my journey, wanting to arrive before I could even share. And that inner voice that you have, it's loud. But then I began to ask myself an important question. What if the voice inside was lying to me? What if self doubt isn't the truth? It's just a habit that I never unlearned. See, when you go through a personal development journey, at the very beginning, you have the awareness of the certain things that you can see. So for me, it was the stories that you tell yourself, right? So once you become aware of them, you then realize that they're not true. They're made up in your head and they come from your childhood because during the years of 1 and 8, during the formative years, is where the model of your world is created. And depending on what happened to you as a little boy or a little girl, is shaping the reality that you live today. Whether or not you want more money is the direct reflection of what happened in the past. And 95% of the things that we do is from the record of the past. Meaning, what we do is unconscious, 95%, and only 5% is conscious. So, if we're living in a record of the past, then what is our future really like? And until you actually understand where all of this is coming from, you're not able to live the life that you actually dream of because a lot of people always talk about the emotional intelligence, but really, like, what is that? Have you actually gone through any of your childhood trauma? Because really, that's the root of all of this. And what's so crazy is that I was in denial a year ago. I'm like, oh, I've healed all of my childhood trauma. No, that is not true at all. I did not. But because I'm able to have, those experiences of healing those wounds, I'm able to show up here today. And it's so beautiful just to see all of this, just truly unfold. And as I think about this podcast and think to myself, like, you know what? Yeah, the numbers aren't coming in right now, but I know in the future they are. And I have to continue to show up because I know that I have things that I want to do. There's people out there that I want to help, and I'm just doing the things that are required for me to get there. And that didn't come from an overnight thing. That came from a person who says that they want something more. They know that they're destined for more and they're going to do more so that they can get to that destination. So here's a shift that changed everything for me. The shift is I stopped trying to overcome self doubt and I started building self trust instead. Because if you are going out into the world and if you are creating a new business, right? If you have the self doubt, you're not going to pursue it. But if you have the self trust that I'm qualified, I'm intelligent, I know my integrity, you can do that thing. That's what instills you to do that thing. But the thing is that it wasn't overnight. It was consistent. And here's the thing about consistency that nobody really is talking about. Consistency is the compound effect of what you actually want to achieve, where you're actually going, right? So, like, let's say, for example, you start a YouTube channel, which is like by far one of the most difficult social media platforms. Like, obviously, like, I say that to say it's a challenge for you to create a community on YouTube, right? But you can't just post one video and expect you to astronomically grow. You have to create multiple videos to teach the algorithm that you're an actual person. You have value, that you have value on YouTube. It's the same thing with consistency. That is the same thing that is in direct correlation to the compounding effect of consistency. And how did I achieve this? I committed to doing the tiny things I said I would do. I moved my body even when I didn't feel like it. I showed up to events that I didn't feel like showing up to, and I wanted to just stay in bed just because I was tired. Even, for example, this podcast episode right now, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm more than likely going to be waking up in the morning, going to the gym, etc. I'm tired, but I know that my future self is now. So therefore, what I'm doing in my future, I'm doing it now. And I hosted walks and people didn't even show up. And it's just a simple fact that you are doing the things that you say that you're going to do, and you're sticking to your word. Because when you stick with your word, you can't let yourself down. The moment that you don't stick to your word, you're allowing yourself down. You are setting yourself down. Confidence was built because I took action. Confidence is instilled within you. It's not a thing that you do once, it's a thing that you consistently do. So, how can you start showing up today? If you're watching this and thinking, but what if I'm not ready? Let me tell you something. You don't have to feel ready to start. You just have to be willing to do it. There's a difference here. And that comes with the certain habits that you have every day. And, where you show up in one area is where you show up in all areas. If you recognize that, you know what, I don't show up here, I say that I'm going to do the thing and then I don't do it. I say that I want to start a business and then don't do it. I say that I want this relationship and don't pursue it, then of course you're not going to have the things that you want. But you're never going to feel ready. You just have to be willing. As you take that first step, you have so much more clarity. And by having that clarity, you develop the confidence to continue down the path because you're not going to stop. And if something does come your way, you analyze it and say, okay, well, this was meant to happen for me to learn this thing. You're not a failure. The things that you do are not failures. And if you do fail at something, it's because you're learning. There is no written book. We were not born with a manual. We were born with dreams. And by you taking action is allowing you to step closer to that dream. Okay. So what does that look like for you? Here's what I'm going to offer to you. Start small, but start consistently. This can look like a 10-minute walk, posting a story on social media, having a meditation a day for 5 minutes, whatever it is, you can start small. Then you also have to shift your focus. Redefine what success means to you. Showing up is the win. Not likes, not validation. Showing up. And speak like someone who believes in their future self, even if your present self isn't sure. Self-doubt only grows in silence, but your power, it grows in action. Every version of me that I'm proud of started by me showing up before I felt ready. And so can you. If this message landed for you, please share it with somebody who's holding back. And if you're ready to start building that next version of yourself, keep listening to the Sunny Side Up podcast, because this is the beginning. You are not behind, you're just getting started. And with all that said, I'll see you in my next video. Bye. That was freaking amazing. I can't wait for the next one.